Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at an incredibly powerful pick for the Ultra League Premier Cup, Superpower Dragonite. Dragonite did get access to Superpower with the Season 12 move update, and it gives Dragonite a hard-hitting coverage move that can hit for super effective damage versus Steel types. I tested out a team of Escavalier, Kingdra, and Superpower Dragonite versus members of my Discord, and honestly had a tremendous amount of success with it. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Superpower Dragonite in action in the Ultra League Premier Cup. Great lead in the first match, Escavalier into Steelix. Opponent save switches into Gallade, and I will respond with my Dragonite. Gallade is going to fire off a move here. Close combat would hurt quite a bit, so I will respect it with a shield, and it is the close combat. They've now lowered their defense, which means Dragonite is going to be able to farm all the way back down. Now, prior to having access to Superpower, Dragonite wouldn't really be able to threaten the Steelix here, but thanks to Superpower, I'm going to be able to reach two hard-hitting, super effective charge moves, and I'm able to grab a shield and deal a significant amount of damage to the Steelix. Second Superpower, able to land, Steelix farms down. In comes Escavalier. In the back, they have Trevenant, and I'm going to respond with Kingdra. Trevenant with an energy lead is definitely scary for Kingdra to see, but Kingdra does live a Shadow Ball. They're going to fire off the Shadow Ball. I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to fire off the Outrage. This will do a ton of damage if it lands. They do commit the shield. Opponent probably going to be committing to the farm down here. They leave with a ton of leftover energy. I bring back in Escav. I'm going to respect the potential Shadow Ball here. It is the Shadow Ball. I'm going to overfarm slightly and fire off the Mega Horn. Drill Run may have been enough to KO them, but I wanted to ensure the knockout with the Mega Horn. Back in comes Steelix. It's a race. Escav barely able to outpace the Steelix. Drill Run will take out the Steelix. And that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Escavalier into the mirror. I will stay in this matchup to start, but I will eventually need to switch out of it. I'm just going to farm up, go straight for the drill run, but I do lose CMP. That's unfortunate. I do survive a drill run, so I'm going to let it through, and then fire back with a drill run of my own. Regardless of what happens, I'm going to be save switching here. Drill run gets the shield, and it's a simultaneous save switch. Kingdra into Swampert. This is a very favorable matchup for Kingdra, as Swampert has to farm all the way up to an Earthquake to hit for neutral damage. I commit the shield, and it is the Earthquake. That is fantastic. I'm going to farm up quite a bit and go straight for the Outrage here, hoping for the kill shot. Outrage, able to land, and they get taken out. In the back, they have Gyarados. I am able to reach a second Outrage due to my previous overfarm. This will do a ton of damage, so Gyarados is forced to commit the shield. Gyarados is going to fully farm down here. I'm going to bring in Dragonite, switch into Escav, and they're forced to fire off some energy. That is good. I basically just need to try and waste Gyarados' energy and then rely on Dragonite to try and close out this match. I will commit the shield. Crunch would do quite a lot of damage here. They're going to continue to farm up, and they bring back in Escav. I'm going to farm up and go for the Superpower here. I need this Superpower to be enough. Superpower, barely not enough. Able to farm down. We are able to outpace the Gyarados. Gyarados falls just short of the charge move. We're able to take them out and clutch an incredibly close win. Tough lead in the next match, Escavalier into Trevenant. I'm going to save switch into Kingdra. Trevenant is going to stay in, and this is enough for a Shadow Ball. I will respect it with a shield. Shadow Ball would do a ton of damage, and my opponent is going to respond with a Shadow Snorlax. I'm going to farm up quite a bit and fire off the Outrage. This will do a ton of damage if it lands, which it does. Able to get the Snorlax incredibly low. This should just about be farm down range. You know what? I'm going to go for it. Can Kingdra farm down here? Kingdra just able to get the farm down as Snorlax dies with the Body Slam. In comes Como as their final Pokemon. I'm going straight for the Outrage. Outrage takes out the Como, and in comes Dragonite. And from here, I should just be able to shield once and farm all the way down with my Dragonite. I'm going to commit the shield. Trevenant goes for the Shadow Ball. That was their win con. I'm able to farm down, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Escavalier into another Trevenant. Same game plan as last time, immediate save switch into Kingdra. My opponent farms up and then brings in Primarina. Not what I was hoping to see, but at the very least we bait out the Charmer, so that should hopefully free up Dragonite to close in the endgame. I fire off the Octazooka, and they're going to charm me down. I'm I'm going to bring in a Scavalier, I'm going to tank whatever they throw, and then try and farm up as much energy as I possibly can here. They fire off the Moonblast, that does quite a lot of damage. Escav is not going to be able to double up on moves, but I'm going to fire off the Drill Run here. Drill Run is going to be enough to KO, and then I'm going to need to immediately switch into Dragonite versus the Trevenant. This is enough for the Shadow Ball, so I am going to respect it with a shield. We'll have to see what they have in the back here. They continue to farm up, and it's a Walrein. Unfortunately, with a shield advantage, Walrein is going to be able to win this game. As you can see, this team, if you're able to bait out their one dragon counter, you're in a pretty good spot. But if they do have two dragon counters, then unfortunately, things can get a little rough. So you can see, I end up lagging on 1 HP here. And then finally, the game is able to unfreeze and take me out. And unfortunately, I lose the match. Hopping into the next match, leading Escav into yet another Trevenant. As always, immediate save switch into Kingdra, and my opponent responds with Walrein. Honestly, this is incredible. Kingdra has a pretty decent matchup versus Walrein in the Zero Shield, able to tank an Icicle Spear and reach the Outrage, and this will do a ton of damage if they let it through. Outrage does get shielded, and honestly, at this point, I'm just gonna let Kingdra go. Kingdra has done its job, it's baited out the Ice type, and it's gotten me shield advantage. So now I can bring back in a Scavalier and then fully commit to the counter down. I'm not going to be shielding anything here. I don't really care what they throw here. They are going to be firing off double Icicle Spear. That is totally fine. I'm going to let that go, and I should be able to leave with a Mega Horn loaded, which is going to do a massive amount of neutral damage to Trevenant. Back in comes Trevenant, and this Mega Horn is going to hurt unless they give up that final shield. They give up the final shield. In comes Dragonite, and Trevenant is going to fire off a move. They're probably baiting here since I have two shields, but I'm not going to risk it. I do commit the shield. I continue to farm up. In the back is Gallade. I'm going to be firing off a Dragon Claw. This is not going to be enough to KO, but it will get the Gallade quite low. Gallade is going to fire off a Leaf Blade. This is double resisted, but I don't have a lot of HP left. So I'm going to commit the shield, farm up to the back-to-back Dragon Claws, and then fire off the first. They snuck a Confusion through, but that's not going to register because the Dragon Claw KO'd them. I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw onto Trevenant. That gets Trevenant very low. I farm up, switch, counter down, and win an incredibly close game. The bad leads continue in the next match, a Scavalier into Gengar. I'm going to immediately save switch into Kingdra. Gengar farms up a ton of energy, and they're going to fire off a move. I will respect the potential Shadow Ball here, and they do full send the Shadow Ball. These Dragon Breaths are tearing through Gengar, so I don't even have to Outrage. I can just go for the Octazooka. Octazooka gets the shield. Gengar banks some energy, and then brings in Trevenant. Trevenant continues to farm up. I am going straight for the Outrage here. Outrage! Able to land, nearly KOing the Trevenant. I'm going to let this go. At this point, Kingdra has definitely done its job. They go for the Seed Bomb. I'm going to farm down with Dragonite and get an energy lead to take on whatever they have in the back, and they have a Kommo-o. I fire off the Dragon Claw, but I get a frame rate drop, and unfortunately, I throw on alignment. A big mistake. Kommo-o goes for the farm down, but Dragonite says no. Able to hang on, reach the last second Dragon Claw. That will KO the Kommo-o, and back in comes Gengar. Gengar does have a lot of energy. I commit the shield. It's the Shadow Ball, and because they didn't bait, I should be able to outpace them here. Reach the Drill Run. Drill Run will take out the Gengar, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a great lead, a Scavalier into Lapras. Opponent is going to save switch into Gallade, and I respond with Dragonite. As you can see, for this battle, I was running Dragon Tail on Dragonite. This was the first battle that I did with the team, but afterwards, I ended up switching it to Dragon Breath. I do prefer Dragon Breath to Dragon Tail currently, just because Dragon Breath gives you a lot more control over when you throw your charge moves, since it is a one-turn fast move. I'm going to commit the shield here, and then try and go for the farm down. Unfortunately, I am not quite able to farm down, and I do take an extra Confusion. Opponent brings back in the Lapras, and I'm not going to be able to reach the back-to-back superpowers. I fire off the first, it lands and does a ton of damage. In the back, my opponent has Typhlosion. Shields are down here, so there is nothing to stop me from getting Solar Beamed. I'm gonna fire off the Octazooka. Octazooka gets the shield, but I do not get the debuff. Moment of truth. Can Kingdra live a Solar Beam? Yes, it can. Kingdra is an absolute beast. Typhlosion is forced to fire off a Blast Burn, but this is counter down range, so I am in a great spot here. I can bring an Escav, counter down, I don't even take a move, and I'm going to be able to fire off the Mega Horn on the Lapras. Mega Horn will easily KO, and that is a good game. Tough lead in the next match, Escavalier into Shadow Dragonite. I'm going to save switch into Kingdra, and my opponent responds with a Shadow Ampharos. Shadow Ampharos can do a ton of damage, and they built up to a Dragon Pulse. I will respect it with a shield, and I'm very happy I did, because it turns out to be a Dragon Pulse. I'm going to fire off an Octazooka here, and this will easily KO the Ampharos unless they commit the shield. Ampharos wants one more move, but they're not able to get there. Kingdra able to farm down just as they reach the Dragon Pulse. They're going to bring back in the Dragonite. I'm going straight for the Outrage here. Outrage, able to land, and one-shots. In comes Shadow Snorlax, and I'm going to bring in Dragonite, and at this point, this game is over. Dragonite is going to be able to reach the back-to-back moves needed to take out the Snorlax. Snorlax fires off the Body Slam. That is perfectly fine. They're going to fire off Body Slam number 2, and I will commit the shield here. I was going to go for the double Superpower, but at this point, they're low enough where Dragon Claw will easily be enough to KO, so I am going to fire off the Dragon Claw. Opponent lets it through, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, leading Escav into another Shadow Dragonite. Not a great lead, so I will immediately save switch into Kingdra, and this Dragonite is staying in. We are both dealing massive super effective damage to each other. They're going to fire off the Dragon Claw. I will commit the shield, and they're going to respond with a Nidoqueen. I'm going to farm up and fire off the Octazooka before they're able to reach a Poison Fang. Octazooka does get shielded. Unfortunately, no debuff. They go for the farm down. Kingdra able to reach one final Octazooka. Let's go, Kingdra. Kingdra able to land the Octazooka and get them incredibly low. I'm going to bring in Escavalier, basically just to counter down. They're going to be firing off a move. It's a Poison Fang. They're one away, so I switch and I catch the Earth Power onto my Dragonite. You absolutely love to see it. They bring in their Dragonite. I'm able to Dragon Breath down. What do they have in the back? And they have a Chandelure. My opponent running some incredible spice, but unfortunately, Dragonite is going to reign supreme. Takes out the Chandelure, takes out the Nidoqueen, and that is a good game. All in all, I'm very excited for the Ultra League Premier Cup to return, and I'm very excited to be able to use Dragonite in a new way. Dragonite has always been a powerful pick, but now with the ability to hit Steel types for super effective damage with Superpower, it has become even more deadly. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.